There's a new article in the Huffington Post titled "Things I Blame for Hillary Clinton's Loss Ranked." Now, in this article, the journalist contends that basically everything and everyone except Hillary Clinton are to blame. Now, I honestly was not sure if this was a satirical article, and I was apprehensive about covering it because I didn't want to get duped into covering something that was supposed to be a comedy piece, but I did my research. I confirmed this, in fact, is a real legitimate argument that someone is making. So let's go ahead and hear this journalist out. So reasons 1 through 99 are misogyny. We've heard this argument time and again. Look, here's the thing. If you disagree with Hillary Clinton and her corruption, that doesn't make you a misogynist. That just makes you a reasonable person. And I'm not trying to downplay real instances of sexism. Hillary Clinton was subject to, I think, some unfair misogynistic criticism. So, for example, some people in the media criticized her because she yelled when she spoke. Now, is that something that has implications that are particularly sexist? Well, sure, I think that's an unfair criticism. I don't care how she says things. I care about what she's saying. But is that going to dissuade someone from voting for her even if they dislike the way she speaks? No. Now, there are some overt sexists in the country, still, that exist, that refuse to vote for someone just because she's a woman. But are they in the Democratic Party? Are they on the left? No, they're probably old Republicans who are like 150 years old. So are they going to vote for a Democrat anyway? No, they're going to vote for the Republican no matter what. The extent to which the left has said any and every criticism of Hillary Clinton is misogynistic, they've really discredited themselves. And with this logic, people would say that I'm a misogynist pig because I'm not attracted to women. I'm a homosexual, so I must be sexist. Like, this is the same logic. I know that sounds absurd, but your argument is pretty absurd as well. Now, also, of course, this journalist blames Bernie Sanders. Quote, "I know this is going to piss a lot of people off, but so be it. I think Sanders, who fortified the recurring narrative that Hillary Clinton was a corrupt neoliberal and part of a rigged system, did more damage than anyone else. He turned millions of young people against Hillary and countless independents, no doubt, too. Yes, he ultimately campaigned for Hillary, but did so half-heartedly, through pursed lips and slumped body language, bashing Trump but rarely praising Hillary. One could almost see the thought bubble over his head, this should have been me. I don't know what you expect. Do you want him to bow down, get on his knees, spread her ass cheeks, and literally kiss her butthole? She rigged a primary against him. It was a very unfair primary where she was an illegitimate winner, and yet he still swallowed his pride when I wouldn't have done that, and not only endorsed her, but campaigned for her. And he campaigned his ass off for her, and he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to endorse her. He didn't have to go out there and campaign for someone who is establishment, that's a fact, who is corrupt, because she is bribed by political contributions, when that goes against everything that he said. He pissed off a lot of his own supporters by doing that. So Bernie Sanders didn't have to do that, but he did. And the fact that you expect more than he already gave you is just preposterous to me. If it wasn't Bernie Sanders, then somebody else could have possibly challenged Hillary Clinton, but we already knew Hillary Clinton was corrupt, which is why we didn't want her. So it wasn't Bernie, it's your candidate. Now, this person also blames fake news that, Hillary had Parkinson's or that she murdered a DNC staffer. But the people who believed this were mostly Republicans because they are consumers of fake media outlets like Breitbart and InfoWars. The left didn't really not like Hillary Clinton because of these things. They were all substantive reasons. Like, I didn't like Hillary Clinton because I don't like that she took millions of dollars from Wall Street. I don't like that she gave Goldman Sachs private speeches and then refused to tell us what she said to them. I don't like that she supports a Syrian no-fly zone. I don't like that she wants to create a cybersecurity policy wherein we respond to cyber attacks militarily. I don't like those policies that she is putting forward. And for those substantive reasons, I dislike Hillary Clinton. I never said anything about not liking Hillary because she has Parkinson's or that she killed staffers. No, that is fake news. There's no evidence to validate those claims. So those are things, though, that Republicans would believe. On the left, progressives were saying that we don't like her policies, and you didn't listen. Can you guess who else is to blame? Of course, it's James Comey. Don't blame Hillary Clinton for setting up a private email server to begin with. Do you know one headline that you'd never see if Bernie Sanders was the nominee? James Comey cost Bernie Sanders the election. You wouldn't see that, one, because he would have won, and two, because Bernie Sanders knows not to be corrupt and set up a private email server. So you've got to blame Hillary for that. And then also Jill Stein. Quote, that publicity-seeking bourgeoisie woman gave disenchanted Bernie busters a place for their protest vote. Oh, okay, so remind me what Hillary Clinton was again? If Jill Stein is bourgeoisie, then what is Hillary Clinton? Hillary Clinton is like the ultimate bourgeois insider who is filthy rich. She makes $225,000 an hour, and yet she wasn't even in favor of a $15 minimum wage. She said that's too much. All we should get is $12. Is that not the definition of a greedy bourgeoisie person? Now also, of course, Russia, WikiLeaks, and blamed the mainstream media who did propaganda for Hillary Clinton and carried water for her, not only through the primaries, but through the general election as well. Now, I don't want to be completely unfair to the author here because she does blame the people who didn't get out to vote, although you could blame Hillary because why didn't they get out to vote? Well, because it was Hillary. Now, this is where the article takes a turn for the worse. This journalist explicitly states that one person that cannot be blamed is Hillary Clinton. Quote, she won every debate, she came up with well-thought-out, concrete plans to govern, she carried herself with dignity and grace, and despite all the endless, misogynist shit that was hurled at her, she was nothing short of heroic. Stop. Just stop. This is Hillary Clinton. This is a corrupt insider we're talking about here. If Hillary Clinton were a man, you would not be saying the same exact things. So I think you're the real sexist here. I think this article is sexist because just because Hillary Clinton was a woman who was the first presidential nominee, you are giving her a pass that you probably, I don't know, wouldn't give to other politicians. If someone else gave private speeches to Goldman Sachs, we would be freaking out if we were the left. And the left rightfully called out Mitt Romney's connection to the industry and all the money he was taking. But yet, Hillary Clinton can't be criticized for that. You know, if we criticize Hillary Clinton for that, then we're in the wrong. No. Now, I think a better argument that was also published in the Huffington Post reads, if Clinton loses, really, there's only one person you can blame. Hillary Rodham Clinton. The outcome of this election should be evaluated by the performances of both candidates. Strong candidates don't have to worry about threats from third parties, so if Clinton fails to mobilize enough new voters to make up for the ones that she's losing to Gary Johnson and Jill Stein, that's her fault. If Trump wins, blame Clinton, not the progressives she's given the cold shoulder to for the entirety of the election. I think that argument is more persuasive. So whoever wrote this article in the Huffington Post, I think that author knows what he's talking about. I wonder who wrote this. You can check that out in the description box, because I think this person has his finger on the pulse. So, I mean, in the end, I thought this article was satirical, but when you compare this article to my article in the Huffington Post, it seems like my article got like 1,000 more shares than this article, so maybe more people heard my message, but more people, about 3,000 more people liked this article over my article. So a lot of people, literally thousands of people, agree with this. They read this and didn't think it was preposterous like me. So if this is an argument that resonates with the Democratic voting base, then we're in for a seriously long ride because wow, I don't know what to say about this. This argument is so laughably bad that it's indistinguishable from satire. I couldn't tell if it was real. I couldn't tell if the author was trolling or not. But the fact that this is an argument that is persuasive to thousands of people, I don't know what to say. I mean, if people believe this, if people really believe that Hillary Clinton is not to blame for running a terrible campaign where you split the base and then court neoconservatives because you think you can make up the voters that you lost in your own base with Republicans, I don't know. There's no hope for the party. There's no hope. And I don't want to be associated with people in the same party that believe this because it's just a bad argument. I mean, it's bereft of common sense. So there's no logic here. I completely disagree, needless to say.
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.